Hello, we are joined here today with Sokeel Park. He is the Director of Research and Strategy at Liberty in North Korea. He is the Country Director here as well. Welcome.
Thank you.
What was the turning point that made you interested in North Korean human rights?
One of the most important things was actually meeting people from North Korea, building a passion for it, and realizing that maybe there is something that I can actually do and contribute to.
Was there a specific instance or person that stuck with you since?
Joseph Kim, one of the first important relationships that brought me deeper into the issue. Since then, he's spoken on the TED stage, he's written a book, his story has become a lot better known.
Please just explain to me what Liberty in North Korea does.
First of all, we're working directly with North Korean refugees, and so people who are escaping the country, it's pretty much impossible to come directly to South Korea because the demilitarized zone is the most fortified border in the world. And there's a hideous irony there that people who are born into the most closed and repressive country in the world, their option to escape is into China, which is also, difficult to travel through as a refugee, especially as the Chinese government labels these people as illegal migrants. And so if they're caught, they're sent back. So there's no recourse to protection or legal authority. And that also makes people very vulnerable to various forms of exploitation, especially a lot of the young North Korean women who are escaping into China and then may fall prey to sex trafficking or various forms of labor or sexual exploitation. And so we have networks on the ground that are bringing North Korean refugees through. To date, we've been able to bring through over 800 North Korean refugees and also some of their children born in China. We also work with people after they resettle.
How about research? Is there a specific area that you're focusing on?
American urban youth, Iranian urban youth, British urban youth are going to be at the forefront of social change and cultural change. And really all that we're trying to put the focus on and share the message is that it's the same in North Korea. There is change, and it's being driven, the forefront of that is urban youth in North Korea.
Why should people care about North Korean human rights?
Right. North Korea is not only the most closed country in the world, but the most repressive. It's the most systematically repressive, oppressive government in the world. It is so extreme. North Korean people do not have legally the freedoms that we take for granted. The North Korean government doesn't grant freedom of movement even within North Korea. North Korean people don't have freedom of speech. They can't, voice a different opinion. They can't complain about North Korean government policies. Freedom of association, freedom of information, no access to the internet for ordinary North Koreans. It's basically completely unprecedented in the world. There's not a single North Korean dissident inside the country or opposition movement that we know of.
According to a recent study of US citizens who think that North Korea is an enemy has decreased from 41% to 21%. Do you think this is a good signal?
Well, I think that's probably a positive signal. Peace and progress is fundamentally better than talking about war and maybe increasing the chances of some kind of conflict. I think that it is important that we don't just look at North Korea as a security problem, as I think there is a danger of doing that. There's such a focus on North Korea as a threat, as Kim Jong-un nuclear weapons and missiles and so on.
Do you think a better image of North Korea could maybe distract from human rights violations that are actually happening in North Korea?
We have to have a very different North Korea before we can even start to get to that point. And so I think that realistically, even though it's difficult for governments to speak like this, it's about having a partial solution on these security issues. It's about managing that kind of problem whilst working towards a long-term change, ultimately normalization of North Korea as a country.
What kind of policy direction would you like to see from Korea or from the United States to improve this situation?
Engaging in various cultural, social, and even economic kind of ways. That I think is going to be one of the key ways to actually helping the North Korean people. They're inevitably going to see, hear, learn things, gain ideas that contradict North Korean ideologies, North Korean government's narratives, and what they try and make their people think through propaganda and so on. Expose them to the outside world, show them the advantages that different structures, different systems of governance have. That's going to add to the degradation of North Koreans' traditional ideologies.
Immigration is very sensitive in the United States.
Right.
Why should people care about North Korean refugees coming into the United States? Shouldn't they be worried?
Frankly, in terms of immigration, it's a negligible amount, and so it doesn't really interact with that bigger discussion. Over the past 10 years or so, it's been averaging around like a dozen people. It's a very small number. Even the number of North Koreans who are able to come to South Korea isn't that big in the grand scheme of things. Last year, 1,127 people were able to arrive. That's into a country of 50 million people. North Korean refugees have been one of the most important sources of information about what's happening inside North Korea and also how things are changing, what are the levers of change, what are the engines of change inside the North Korea as a country. Not only that, a lot of people are actually staying in contact with their families and sometimes even friends inside North Korea. They're in contact through broker networks, through Chinese mobile phones that are smuggled into the country. And so there's information and money, cash, Chinese money, that gets smuggled into the families of North Korean refugees who have resettled in South Korea.
In South Korea in July 2018, there was a protest against Yemeni refugees coming into South Korea. Do you think Koreans would be more open to receiving North Korean refugees?
Yeah, I think that there's still a sense of shared ethnicity, and in general, I think that a lot of South Koreans are actually welcoming and positive about North Koreans resettling in South Korea.
Thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me on, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.